everyone, this is Catherine O'Connell and welcome to Lawyer on Air. If you are looking for inspirational stories about women in law, then this is the podcast for you. Join me and my lawyer ladies as we enjoy a glass of wine after a hard day at work and talk about the world of women in law. It's my passion to share stories of amazing legal ladies who are working as in-house legal counsel, who have law firm roles, who are leading on boards and who are doing law differently. From time to time, I will also invite special guests on the show to share their insights on legal recruiting and tips for getting hired as a successful lawyer in Japan. I hope you will enjoy getting to know these amazing women who I am so proud to share a profession with. I'm glad you're here and I hope you enjoy the show. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Lawyer on Air podcast. In this podcast episode, I share with you another diverse story of a woman lawyer working in the law in Japan. I'm Catherine, the host of the show, and I'm based in Tokyo for more than 20 years as a lawyer, and I love helping unlock the wisdom of the stories that women never tell. What I've learned in my career in law so far is every challenge is an opportunity for personal growth if you choose to be the heroine of your own life. Those are the words of Hiroko Miyazaki, who is my guest today on the Lawyer on Air podcast. Hiroko Miyazaki is truly a powerhouse in the legal and corporate scene. She was VP and Managing Director at 3M Japan, leading corporate affairs and making things happen until October 2023, when she broke away and is now on her next quest for brilliance. Before 3M, Hiroko was General Counsel at Alcon Japan, which was a part of the Novartis Group at the time. She not only led the legal and compliance department, but also pulled off a major overhaul, turning the team into a bona fide business partner. Before all of that, she was leading counsel at Dell Japan, where she led the legal and contract management teams, earning the accolades like the Direct to the Top award. What is truly humbling for me listening to Hiroko is that she started her career in a part-time job at a law firm as a supporting assistant. Then, after passing the law exam from such humble beginnings, she became an associate in law firms and then took on her in-house legal roles and managing director work. Hiroko holds an LLM from the University of Washington, and she is licensed to practice in both Japan and New York. On this episode, Hiroko shares how overcoming a big challenge she had with failure was the first step to getting on the path to success and never giving up. She also shares the amazing advice she received from her manager about prioritizing tasks and empowering her colleagues in other functions of the company. You'll also hear Hiroko's 3 tips for success as a lawyer, and actually I think they are top tips for anyone in life to master their leadership presence in all that they do. And Hiroko shares her insights into emotional intelligence, a favorite book she recommends, the person she would love to spend a day with, and some other fun facts. I'm very pleased to bring you Hiroko Miyazaki as my guest today. Let's get into it. Hello, Hiroko, and welcome to the show.
Hi, Catherine. Thank you so much for inviting me for this podcast today. I've been really looking forward to this opportunity and feeling quite excited.
Oh, that's good. I love a little bit of excitement. It always gets us going nicely.
Uh-huh.
And I have a question for you. The first question I ask everybody, if we were meeting up in person, where would we be? Do you have a favorite wine bar or restaurant you love to go to? And what would be your choice from the menu?
Wow, what a fantastic question. Actually, there are plenty of great places to choose in mind. Catherine, if you don't mind to come to Sakura Shinmachi, which is just about 10 minutes by subway from Shibuya, I'd love to take you my favorite spot, a Japanese restaurant called Kou. It's a combination of lake in kanji and wu in hiragana, Kou. The restaurant's led by my friend's friends. this really great place, and I'd like to have some Japanese sake together with you. It's a ideal setting to enjoy some fine sake with delicious food together while engaging in delightful conversation with you.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, sounds great. I love a friend's friend restaurant. They must look after you very, very well.
Yeah.
Oh, and sake. Yes, I do like some sake, that's for sure.
Oh,
So,
oh, I think you are a champagne lover,
oh,
right?
yes, but I think I stick to champagne, wine,
Uh,
and sake. Maybe in
uh-huh.
summertime I have a beer, but
Mhm.
it's usually champagne. Yes, you know me very well. I
I
do.
had my friends, yeah.
I do love sake as well. Well,
Mhm.
that's great. Thank you very much. I look forward to going to Cole. Is that right?
Mm. Yes,
Great.
cold, yes.
Great, great. Thank you so much. Well, let's get into asking some questions about your career. If you think back when you were like a child or young adult, do you remember what you were thinking about as a career or dreaming about for the future?
Yeah, looking back, when I was young, I had two dreams. One is to become a singer and to be an athlete. Yeah, even though I wasn't particularly good at singing, I have a dream to become a singer. I think it was because my father's influence. He loved to sing the songs at home, and we even had a karaoke set at my family. And on like a weekend, my family had a party of karaoke. So that's why I have a dream to become a singer.
How exciting. I'm really smiling here because I've just got this image of you at home in the weekend with the karaoke mic and singing away together. How fun that must have been.
Yeah, so when I opened up my family album, there are a lot of photo. My family member had a mic at the before the karaoke set, so that's a really
Oh,
fun
that's so
thing. Yeah,
lovely. Yeah, and also, athlete. Did you
yeah,
actually do well in sports at
yes,
school?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I was really active girl, and I realized I was quite fast runner. And I was heavily involved in sports. And yeah, actually, during my junior and senior high school years, I hadn't yet thought much about my future profession, just heavily involved in the sport.
How interesting. And do you continue to do singing now and do some sports as well?
Ah, yes.
Oh, good. Okay, great. And
Yes.
today you have a different kind of microphone in front of you. I know
Mhm.
you have it sitting in front of you because now you're on the podcast with me.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. So it's not, you can sing if you like, but you don't have to. However, over the years, you've worked in many law firms and in big name companies. But tell me how you started out and why you wanted to be a lawyer.
Oh, that's a great question. Becoming a lawyer, actually, by chance, I happened to get into law at the university, and that's how I end up passing it as my career. So, Catherine, there are two pathways to enter university at that time. One is to taking entrance exam. On the other way is to applying through a recommendation system known as recommendation admission. So I choose recommendation system. Actually, I skipped the entrance exam because I devoted to sports. I didn't start it yet to prepare entrance exam to university. And that recommendation system, Keio University, Faculty of Law, has such system. So my teacher suggested to me, why not apply this the Keio University of Faculty of Law. So that's why I apply this university. So it is just by chance.
I see. So you joined that by the recommendation admission, and then what happened? So you finished the law school.
Yeah. So during the university, I changed. It was complete shift. Serious athlete to serious runner. Because I used recommendation system, I felt like I'm like cheating because most of the students prepared hard for entrance exam, but I skipped such process. So I somewhat felt it is my obligation to be serious runner for law. So, and I had a strong desire to try something new at the university and wanted to make the most of my time in university and have some like a return. So my parents decided to make me to go university. I think it was not easy decision to think about my family. So I felt some like obligation to receive some value from the study role in the university.
I see. Interesting how you had that feeling of like you needed to do something more serious and become a
Mhm.
serious learner, as you
Mhm.
said. I see. So what happened? Then you started to seriously study the law?
For me, studying law broadened my world. So I feel like four new words
Mm.
came up in front of me. The running role is like creating a new world. So without running a role, that's just a single word. But by running role, the world is not single one. Um,
Ah, that's
mm,
very
you know?
interesting observation. Yeah, so you're in
Mhm.
one area, but because you started to learn the law, it
Mhm.
created multiple
Yeah, yeah.
worlds.
Mm.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
see. That's interesting.
often use this example. You imagine you walk down to the street and there is a one vending machine for like Coca-Cola or Pepsi. That's just a vending machine for usual common people.
Mm.
However, with the knowledge of contract, that is a invitation of offer of the product. And by throwing the coin, that's the acceptance of offer. It's a
Yes.
contractual word.
It sure is. I had never really thought about that. Even as a lawyer, I'm thinking exactly when we go to the vending machine, it's just, hey, you can
Mhm,
buy me,
mhm,
right? Invitation to buy. And then
mm,
when you put the money in, it's an
mhm.
acceptance. A
Yeah.
great
And
example. Great
yeah.
example.
So running law, I really was fascinating to studying law,
Mm.
and it is a natural choice for me to use law as a professional. So I started to think about to taking a bar from the first year of university.
Wow, that's really amazing because some people study law and they don't really want to be a lawyer. They just study law. But it
Mm,
sounds like you got that from the very early stage that you wanted to do the bar.
yes.
Yeah, so tell me what happened next.
Yeah, so I challenged the bar exam, but I failed three times. Yeah,
Okay,
so
that happens. Yeah.
yeah, that I planned within university time. I tried to pass the bar, but I couldn't. So I decided to continue to take bar even after the graduate from the university. And I found a part-time job, actually assistant of lawyer in yeah,
Assistant of lawyer.
yeah,
Sounds
yeah,
like
yeah.
your friend of a friend who owns the restaurant.
Yes, yes, yes.
Assistant of
So
the assistant. Okay.
yeah, so I go to the like a post office to send the registered mail, and
Right.
I serve the tea for clients.
Wow. Right.
I prepare some documents, and I pick up phone call from the clients. Just
Wow.
my job.
Wow.
Yeah, for as a first job for me.
Yes, first job.
After graduate.
How
Yeah.
how
Mm.
interesting though to do so many different jobs and be part of the team and very valid part of the team. And then you did actually get the bar though after that, right?
Yes, yes. Second year after graduate from university, I
Brilliant.
took yes.
What was the difference, do you think, for getting it that time and missing the bar the other times? Were you focused and concentrating, do you think, this time?
Yeah. So actually, it was good for me to get this part-time job after graduating the university because that was an interesting opportunity for me to see real world, and especially this law firm cover international transactions, so I can see how lawyer works on international transaction. That I observed during the such part-time job era.
Yeah, so nothing is ever wasted, is it?
Yeah,
And you have a
yeah.
chance to see the whole actual world, another
Mm-hmm.
world that you talked
Mm,
about before,
yeah, yeah.
new worlds of law. And you mentioned the vending machine example, but this is
Mm-hmm.
another world. You can see it as the junior in the
Mm-hmm.
firm. You don't have to worry about too much pressure, but you
Mm,
can observe how it actually is in a law firm.
yes.
Excellent. I love that. And you've come from there then. You did actually take the bar and join
Mm-hmm.
a law firm, right?
Yes. After I completed my training, 2 year training, I joined a law firm, Showa Law Office. It's a mid-sized law firm dealing with international transaction as well. Maybe it's influence from the firm. I worked as a part-time assistant. I was really interested in international transaction, feeling like English environment and international environment.
I see. And did you stay there long or you also moved to another law firm, I think?
Yes, after 6 or 7 years, this firm decided to merge with another firm. So this firm split two groups, and I naturally selected to move to another firm, Asahi, at that time, with two partners. Actually, I work mainly with these two partners, so it is a natural choice to me to move to Asahi.
Absolutely. If you've
Mm-hmm.
been working with them, then you would continue to do that on the with the split. That makes
Mm-hmm.
perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So what happened during those days at the law firm? You enjoyed it, I'm sure, but you end up moving to in-house.
Yes.
Tell us about that because your in-house experience is really amazing and I love seeing it on a CV, but I don't know much about what it was like for you in moving from law firm to in-house. So can you tell me about that?
So the reason why I moved from law firm to in-house is mainly because I have a family. I have a son. And to maintain work-life balance, I thought it is a good idea to move from law firm environment to the company environment because at that time, working at the law firm is really busy. It requires 24 hours dedication, I would say. So I thought it is a good idea to move to set like from 9 to 5 o'clock arrangements. That's why I moved to in-house.
I see. And were
Mm.
you staying in Japan all of this time, or did you also move overseas?
Yeah, before I moved to in-house, I decided to study in US, Seattle, Washington.
Right.
Yeah, because I have a son, so I wanted to get control my time by changing my environment. You know, the working as an associate at the law firm doesn't have much control my
No,
time, my
right.
priority. However, studying as a student at the university has a lot of flexible on the control my time. So it's really free to when I prepare for class and when I spend time with my son is my choice. So that's why I decided to go to US for study, supported by law firm. Actually, I appreciate that. Yeah.
For sure. I mean, to
Mhm.
have the support of the law firm, but to go to America with a child and have
Mhm.
the real positive view, real
Mhm.
positive outlook that I can manage my study time and my child well. I think that's quite an interesting observation. Many people might be afraid to move overseas with a child and try to study. That's incredible experience.
Yeah. So I had a friend again who knows a professor of this university. And I have discussed with this professor. And the professor told me, nothing, you don't have to nothing scare. There are plenty of support for son and you. There
Mm,
were child care and preschool under the university, and you can use babysitter, and you can use everything you want. So let's try, she said. So that's a really encourage to me.
that is
Mm.
fabulous. I've not heard of that happening. What an amazing support mechanism for you
Mhm,
to
mm.
enable you to study. And wow, I love that story and that it is possible to do that. Yeah. And so you returned then from America, but then moved in house. Is that correct?
Yes.
I see.
So during the time in the US, I had a chance to work in the law firm in Seattle, Washington.
Right.
Yeah, there, everyone works from like 9 to 6. The night is for family.
Mm,
That's a behavior. So I realize the work is work. So changed my perspective on putting work above everything else.
I see. And so that's also, I think, helping you decide that in-house might be better for your
Yes, yes.
work-life
Mm.
balance. Right. And you came back to Japan and you've had so many wonderful in-house roles. And
Mm-hmm.
I think these have all been different experiences for you. And perhaps you've approached all of those challenges for your sort of personal growth as you were doing those roles. Can you tell us about those roles? Perhaps I think you were with Dell first and Alcon, which was a subsidiary of Novartis at that time, and then finally landing at 3M. Maybe
Yes.
you want to talk about each of those roles, about what helped you and when your philosophy during those roles. I'd love to hear about that.
Okay. So, first company, it was Dell. So, I mentioned before, I switched from a law firm role to in-house role because I wanted to spend time with my family. However, things is different than I imagined.
Mm,
This is because immediately after I joined Dell, my immediately manager left the company to pursue other career.
I see.
So I became a solo lawyer
Ah,
in company.
right. You became the solo lawyer
Yeah.
suddenly. Ah,
So I needed to do everything. And originally, I thought I could learn from the lawyer who is leading their subsidiary. So, but I was solo. I have a remote manager in Singapore, but I need to thinking about myself. Yeah, so I really felt challenging. My mind occupied a lot of tasks.
mm,
So I had a consultation with my manager at Singapore, and her advice was quite useful and quite new to me. Her advice was, you don't have to do everything. You need to prioritize your work, depend on the importance depend on the company's approach and get understanding from the key stakeholder. And you can ignore low priority thing. So you can say to your internal client who asks you about the low priority thing, use your brains. So that's her advice. So she really
Wow.
strong.
Yes.
She's really was really strong leader. I really respect her. So that's advice quite changing my thinking, my perception of in-house role.
Wow.
So that is me who decided the priority. Actually, indeed, I need to get understanding market alignment with business leader. But in the law firm, I needed to do everything requested by client. But here at the company, I don't have to do everything, but I need to set the priority in align with the company's goal. So that's really shifting my mindset or my thinking.
Absolutely. And,
Mm.
the using your brain to the
Hmm.
people who are around you is, empowering them to, you can do that yourself and you're okay, you're able to do it and come to me with
Yes.
the really difficult
Mm.
question. But
Yes.
I trust you to do the work, and
Yes.
maybe you set the boundaries so that they know when to come to you.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
you
Thank
can
you
get
for
on with the
paraphrasing.
big,
Yeah.
yeah, you can get the big things done. And that was such brilliant advice from that manager, I believe.
Yes, but Catherine, I didn't say use your brain.
No, of course not.
Exactly.
Of
It's some
course not.
somewhat rude in
Yeah, so you would have,
Japanese,
yeah, so I'm sure you said something
but
like, look,
yeah,
you can
instead
do it.
yeah,
Mm,
instead
mm.
saying using your brain, I create like some checklist
Yes,
to help
absolutely. Yeah,
to help their own judgment. And I started to like a training session to our internal clients to find issue or to think about themselves.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it takes
So,
time to do training,
mm,
sure. You think, oh, it's easier for me to do the job myself. But actually doing the training really is important to allow them to do as much work themselves as possible
yes,
and come to you for the really difficult stuff.
yes,
Wow. So what happened next? Did you then you had another experience, right, at a different company?
yes.
Hmm.
I moved to Alcon. It's healthcare company. I was really lucky to have a mentor again, the female mentor. It was my manager, Christina Ackerman, and another mentor is Mimura-san. She is the Novartis general counsel. Novartis was parent company of Alcon. So it was really lucky for me to have such women like a role model during the company. They gave advice a lot. Not things I learned from them is to be confident and to behave leader and influence the people. So that I learned from them.
Does that mean a role model is someone like that who gives you that empowerment to be confident, to behave like a leader and influence people? Is that a role model?
Yes.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, definitely. I was not able to be Mimura-san or Christina, but to import couple of behavior, like how to talk to people in front of a lot of people, or to explain something to client. So I learned a lot and I import from them to use on my way. So that's my way to learn from my role model.
Absolutely. And
Mhm.
you mentioned their names. I'm wondering, are they still very much part of your network now?
Yeah.
You still keep in contact with them?
Mm-mm.
Great. Wow. And then 3M comes along, right?
Yes.
What an amazing company to work for. And you were there for a long time and also advanced up to managing director. So I'm really interested to hear about your journey at 3M because it is remarkable and it's a great story to tell. So could you tell us about that story, joining 3M, what you did, and then how that came to be that you became the managing director as well?
Yes. So my friend at Dell moved to 3M before I joined 3M. So he recommended me why not join 3M. That's a story. I joined 3M. 3M is a really great company. I have read on the book, business book. And 3M Japan has factories and a development center. So I thought I was able to broaden my area and I use my expertise at the 3M. That's why I moved from Arcon to 3M. At the 3M, there already have some really capable person under me. So the first 2 or 3 years, I was busy to know the business and to know the client. But like a fourth year, I had plenty of time because I have a great team and a team member can work with a client and they are really capable. And as a people manager, I didn't need to spend much time. So I had a chance to like executive assistant of the country leader, managing director at that time. So I joined the team with corporate communications and crisis management or general affairs or such like function leaders team. And I supported the managing director at that time. That was a story. So I expand my role beyond legal and compliance. So the work that I wanted to do, so it's a great opportunity for me.
I see. And so did you know that you would be expanding your role before you joined, or you joined and this it became an offer for you to work with the other functions, right? So
I,
yeah, so it's interesting because sometimes we don't know when we join. We think we're going to do legal and compliance. But here you had this opportunity, it sounds like, to do more and you said yes.
yes, I didn't know I had a chance to expand my role. However, it's a not the official expansion, but informal expansion, I would say. So, with the discussion with managing director, he was my indirect manager and internal client, most of key stakeholder. But he suggested me why not work beyond legal. And actually, he wanted to someone who work with another leader, like a sustainability office leader or a compliance leader. I kind of worked as a mentor for them. So that's the story.
Excellent, right. And because you had received mentoring before, you learn how to be a good mentor when you've been a mentee,
Ah, that's right.
right? So you could
I
use that. That's
just found.
amazing. Great connecting of experience. And I can see that maybe this person was seeing you could be a good bridge to
Ah,
help
yes,
connect the other departments, because that's
yes,
often what happens at legal. You can be
yes,
the strategic bridging person, and I really love that story.
yes, that's right. Yeah, legal can work as a bridge or connect from the neutral perspective and can sometimes coordinate every aspect. with variety of clients. So yeah, that's
Wow.
why I
Yeah.
can use my skills for such role.
Right. And before we recorded today, you talked about a sense of proactive ownership of your
Ah,
narrative. I really love that expression, a sense of proactive ownership over your narrative. Can you help me to explain what that means to you? Perhaps it's especially in the times of uncertainty or adversity. Maybe you had some experience there that brought this out. I think it's a great concept.
yes. So, you know, the fact or environment we cannot change, but it is for me to decide how taking approach to such fact or environment. So it is a choice on me how I react and how I treat such environment. So this is an opportunity or this is just a fact, just I react. So I always try to choose this is an opportunity for me to switch the mind and in order to achieve my goal, I try to treat as positive. So that's my mindset.
That's really brilliant. Well, we've talked a lot about those roles that you had in house. Is there anything that you wanted to mention that I haven't asked you about here that we maybe missed or you'd like to re-emphasize?
Yeah, so during my managing director's role, I learned a lot, but one of the things I learned is to manage three things. So the threes are emotions, time, and communication. So we should manage these three things. Time management is essential for everyone, but especially for leader, for big organization, time management is really essential. And I learned a lot how to effectively manage our time. Emotional management, that's from my outside activity. Actually, I received the training called SIY, Search Inside Yourself training. It started from Google. It's a combination of neuroscience or emotional intelligence improvement training. I acquired the skill through this program. And manage communication. That's important for leader, for like a management director. That I learned.
Absolutely. I think you're right on the time, communication, also emotional. That's
Mhm.
so key because when clients come to you or people in the business, they're usually quite stressed. And
Yes.
so emotion comes to the top of their brain,
Mm-hmm.
right? And also when we are stressed as lawyers advising,
Mm-hmm.
we also have emotion and we need to control it in some way. I think we see the how a person really is how they react under stress,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so this emotional intelligence training really helped you as well. That's very interesting.
Yes. In order to manage our emotion, the first step is to observe the emotion. And I shouldn't avoid or I shouldn't ignore, nor I should deny my emotion. So I just observe my feeling or emotion. This is a really important first step. And then reframing from the negative impression to positive side, and then act. Always pausing when I feeling some negative emotion, and then reframing in order that we can do positively our action. Yeah.
That is brilliant. Step one, observe. So
Mm-hmm.
understand and notice
Mm-hmm.
how it's happening inside your body, I guess.
Yes, yes.
And name it. I'm feeling really annoyed by this person, right? I'm
Mm.
feeling annoyed. That's the
Yeah.
feeling. And then
Yeah.
reframe it.
Yes.
How would you reframe something like ira ira,
Yes.
annoyance? What's a reframing of something like that?
Yeah, like let's say someone really upset about
Yes.
some fact. the maybe original reaction is uncomfortable to see,
Ah,
if I see someone who really got upset.
right.
However, observe my emotion. Maybe I don't like such behavior. However, my expectation is to wanted to him to respect me.
Mm,
So that's my hope, my expectation on him.
right.
So then I need to show respect on him if I wanted to him to respect me.
Right.
So that's a paraphrasing.
That's the
So
reframing.
yeah,
Right. And then the action is giving him some respect.
yes, yes.
Ah,
Instead to like avoid or ignore his
right. Or get
my emotion.
angry or
Yeah.
talk to
Mm.
someone else about him.
Yes.
Oh, he's just so disrespectful. So that's a great example. I love that example.
Thank you.
The hard thing about emotional intelligence is to pause. I think the hardest part is to pause and try and reframe. That's the real key.
Yeah. So according to the neuroscience experiment, it's really hard to pause. It's really first step to pause and
Mm.
mindfulness. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. It's really amazing. Okay, well, after all we've talked about, I want to ask you a question to finish this sentence for me. The one thing I have learned from my career in law so far is.
Every challenge is an opportunity for personal growth. If you were to choose to be the heroine of your own life.
If you choose to be the heroine of your life,
Yes.
how does that show up for you? How have you chosen to be the heroine of your life?
Yeah. So I failed the bar exam and I was not able to devote myself to the work at the law firm. But during this hard time, I found this is me to choose to life or to choose a way. That I found from the experience.
Mm.
Yes.
I feel like this title of this episode may be using challenges as opportunities to choose being the heroine of your life. I think I can feel that is the theme of this episode. So let's see what happens with later on when we choose the title for this. But really a great to say that. And your example of the bar exam really is an example that's excellent to show that that is what you've learned. Thank you so
Mhm.
much for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
going to shift here a little bit because I know that you do quite a few keynote
Yes.
speeches, right? And you sometimes lawyers are seen as natural speakers, but sometimes actually the reality is that a lot of lawyers are not very good at doing public speaking, right? But you seem to be engaged in doing quite a few keynote speeches. Can you tell us about what kinds of topics you talk about and why you do this? Maybe it's part of that communication things that you are managing that you mentioned before. One of the three things, one was communication, and a keynote is communication, definitely. So tell us about these keynote speeches that you're involved in.
Sure. So, yeah, luckily enough, I was asked to present something in front of them, lot of people. So I think this was because of my unique background. There are not many people who had experience in law firm, in US, in Japan, and in-house, and the managing director. That's experience. Maybe people interested in how I saw the legal department from the the view of management director, and how you can see as an in-house lawyer to law firm. So the audience would like to know the different perspective when I observe the different angle.
I hope we can have a chance to listen to one of your keynote speeches on that area. But how does the executive leadership position help you understand or allow you to see the significance of the legal function? What kinds of things do you tell people when you're doing that keynote?
Yeah, from my experience as a management director, the legal function, legal department is really critical to operate organization because the management director or leader need to oversee big picture. In order to see big picture, legal helps a lot. The legal function has always a neutral view or are really good at to formulating the fact and their chronologically record to list up pros and cons. So to have overview, legal helps a lot. And legal always helped me to formulating a strategy or clarifying approach. So I think legal can take a really critical role to operate a big organization. That I imagined, but that thing I found during the time I took the management director's role.
It's really important that you've done that. And also now I can see that when you do these keynote speeches, you are like advocate or evangelist for the legal department and can help people to understand what legal does.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think, especially in a Japanese company, it's really important to have such a view instead of just rely on the one person or just rely on the past experience. We can decide for future. So in order to have such view, legal role is critical, I think.
Absolutely. And how do you know when you've given a keynote speech if it's effective for the audience?
I judged mainly from the feedback sheet. I always received feedback sheet from the coordinator. And if I was able to find I can success to change behavior or audience take some action after hearing my presentation, that was my success. Just hearing or just understand the contents, nothing will happen. However, if the people who heard my presentation take some action to change, that is success from my presentation. Mm,
Absolutely. I agree. You've got somebody doing something because they heard you.
mm.
And if they never heard you, they wouldn't have taken the action.
Yeah, yeah.
So, they
Mm,
could get the information, the content from Google or from somewhere else. But because they listened to you, they got some, oh, I can do something differently.
mm.
Oh, I can change my behavior in some way. Oh, I'll try that. And
Yeah.
that's acting. Wonderful. I love that. Is there anything else about keynote speeches you wanted to talk about?
Because I'm a woman, sometimes I was asked to talk about my career in front of the students at the girls' school.
Yes.
So I'm really enjoy to talk about my career in front of the girl students in the girls' school. Especially, I wanted to them have confidence to pursue their career. So I was not a student who have a really confident in the future, but I think everyone can have confidence. So that's my theme when I talk to in front of the people.
That's great. And especially letting them know, that they can do anything they want and to be confident.
Yes.
It is
Mm.
actually inside us. It just has to come out.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. That's really great. I'm glad to hear that you're also speaking to the younger students at school. Well, thank you for that, Hiroko. And next, I'd like to ask you about tips for lawyers that you might have. Perhaps there is someone who would love to have the job like you had at 3M. They can hear your story and are really enthusiastic to have some role like that. What kind of advice would you give to them?
Actually, I had three things. Stay flexible and develop a growth mindset and be proactive. That's three things I would like to advise.
Stay flexible is one.
Yes, develop a growth mindset and be proactive.
Develop a growth mindset and be proactive.
Yeah.
Ooh, can you give me an example of one of those? Maybe one of those that would be useful as an example that where you've been maybe having a growth mindset or proactive or being flexible. That would be really good to hear.
Yeah, so be proactive. So in the real world, especially business world, opportunity will rarely come knocking on your door unprompted. So taking a proactive approach position you as a driver of your own success. So we shouldn't just a passive bystander.
Yeah,
That's be
right.
proactive's meaning.
Right. You're the driver of your own success. So you can't
Yes.
wait for other people to promote you or try to look after your career. Are you saying you have to look after your career yourself? You're in charge.
Yes.
Wow.
So there are a lot of opportunity. The opportunities may come to you as a face of hardship, like a challenge, but such challenge can change to opportunity. So be proactive. Yeah, now I'm saying to myself to take running. Yeah,
Yes, still learning and being a lifetime learner by the sounds of it.
yes.
Is there anything you have as like the future of law and how you see the future of lawyers being in the organization? Will they be more managerial or more helping other departments, or do you see some other future for lawyers?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I think Rita had a lot of potential because lawyer have some skill like logical reasoning or effective communication or like really good at have like a building trust relationship. Such skill can use to become leader in an organization.
Mm.
So I think the future of lawyer is really bright. Be confident. So to take such leadership role.
Yes, I love that you're very positive. A bright future is
Mhm,
exactly what I believe in as well. Is there
mhm.
anything else that you wanted to say about lawyers and the future and what they should be thinking or dreaming about?
Yeah. So I think the especially women who listen to this podcast tend to be really too hard on themselves. In their mind, we tend to criticize ourselves. So you are not enough, or you are not good at English, or you are not
Mm.
the leader. We don't have to criticize ourselves in our mind. So to be gentle ourselves and to give the word as if you give your friends so that another thing I would like to tell the listener.
Yeah, it's very easy to forget that, but
Hmm.
yeah, only use if you would advise one of your friends, hey, go for it, or you're fine, you can do it.
Yeah.
You really don't need to worry.
Mm.
Use those words on yourself as well.
Yes. Yes.
Great
Mm.
advice. Oh my goodness, I love that. Well, what about for you? Any new projects or activities that you're planning this year that you would like to share?
Thank you. So I am preparing business coaching. So this is my own experience at 3M.
Yes.
So I receive coaching from a wonderful coach. So I had a session monthly. Without such coaching, I was not able to perform my role as a management director. So I think it's my turn to coach someone who is struggling to take a leadership role, especially women. So I started to learn framework coaching, and I think lawyers skill fit some coaching, like the coaching and legal has some common skill, like to find issue or to set a goal or to analyze and to decide a step and to observe how the step can be fulfilled. So I'm planning to start the business coaching.
Oh, very
Mm.
exciting. I look forward to hearing more. And I really appreciate that you said it's my turn to help, right?
Yeah.
You received it and it's your turn now to give back. And I really think that's important as we get older and through our careers that we help and give back to others like we did when we received something in our career. I really love that. I think it's a focus of
Mhm.
how I work. And coaching is interesting. I think it does draw on legal skills, as you said, but also I think in coaching, tell me if I'm wrong, you don't tell people what to do. You help them to find the answer inside themselves.
Yes, thank you for clarifying what I'm trying to say.
No, I'm trying to
Yes.
clarify for myself because I'm
Yeah.
doing a coaching program as well. And
Yeah.
I
Yes.
realize that's the big
Mm.
difference between
Yes.
coaching and mentoring. Mentoring, you can tell people how they should do
Yes.
something.
Mm.
Coaching, they've got to
Yeah.
find it themselves, but you guide them to pull
Yes.
out how they
Mm.
get there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So during the coaching session, that coach helped me a lot to find my goal,
Yes.
like a short-term goal and a long-term goal, and
Yes.
yeah, to have dialogue, meaningful dialogue that helps a lot. So it's better for many people to have some coaching that I'm trying to
Yes, I
do.
certainly
Yeah.
think so too. I've
Mm,
had the experience, and I would suggest anyone
mm,
find the right coach for you, and you can
mm.
change your life. Lovely. Thank you so much. Look forward to hearing more about that in the future. Let's wind down the podcast. I usually ask a few kind of curious or interesting or casual questions. I hope you don't mind. But the first question I want to ask you is if you could live anywhere in the world, even in Japan, where would you live?
Yeah, I wanted to live in Hokkaido.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm a big fan of fighters, a baseball team. So there is a home team in Kita Hiroshima at Hokkaido. So if my dream come true, I live in the Kita Hiroshima and in Hokkaido. I every day I visited the ballpark there. That's my dream. Yes.
oh my goodness. It's interesting. I thought you were going to talk about scenery.
Mm.
But you're talking about the baseball team that you support. That's amazing. Wow. How about then the next question is a book that you've read recently
Oh.
or maybe even another podcast that you've listened to that you would recommend?
Okay, I would recommend the book, the title, The Gross the Pie. It's written by Professor Edmonds. The topic about how to serve society and to generate profit for investors. So,
Mm,
the most of the company are struggling to make revenue and serve society. According to the Professor Edmonds, we can meet these two goals at the same time. So there are a lot of data and a lot of the story of the example, and I was really inspired by the book.
love it.
So,
Yeah, meeting both of those goals and indeed society
mm,
and making profit as a business.
yeah.
Wonderful.
Mm.
Well, how about this? Your favorite saying, like a kotowaza,
Oh,
or something that you often say to people, right? It might be
yes.
kotowaza, it might be you have something, a mantra that you like to say.
Okay, I like the saying, 我以外我がしなり. In English, I can learn from everyone.
Mm.
That's a really express our growth mindset.
Oh,
So
yes.
yeah, we can learn from everyone, from every time. That's a saying.
Yeah, don't dismiss people because we can actually learn from every single interaction. Oh, I love it.
Yes, yes.
And if you were going to spend a day with someone, anyone, could
Mm-hmm.
be alive or has already passed away, who would you spend a day with? And why would you do that?
Wow.
Big question.
Again, it's a baseball player. Um,
Oh, okay.
are you okay?
Yes.
Matsumoto, it's okay.
Yes.
Matsumoto Go.
Yes.
He was best batter in 2020.
Mm.
So 21. But he is amazing. So I'd like to spend just to see he's playing or
Mm.
he's preparing for game one day.
Love
So,
it. Okay. And the final question is, what is something about you that a lot of people don't know? So something about
okay.
you they might be surprised to learn. Now, I'm surprised to know that you love baseball so much, but there must be something else that maybe you don't tell many people, but only some people know.
I'm a runner,
Yeah.
marathon runner. I was able to run around 4 hours for full marathon. But I told the people,
Well, you
but
didn't mention that you did marathon though. You said you were a runner, but you didn't mention that. So I think that's incredible. That's probably something that people don't know about you at all.
thank you.
Thank you so much, Hiroko. We've come to the end, and I really want to thank you for coming on Lawyer on Air. It was such a pleasure to speak with you. You've shared so much inspirational stories with us and your career progression and not giving up, and taking life with really big energy, right? And going further forward and never giving up. I loved that. And you've shown us as a great example that a lawyer can do lots of different things,
Mm-hmm.
just one thing in life, and always looking for new experiences and new challenges. So, thank you for the time today for sharing your story. How can listeners get in touch with you if they want to perhaps connect with you
Uh,
later on?
yeah. Probably the LinkedIn.
Great, that's
Mm.
wonderful. And so we'll put that into the show notes and all of the things that you mentioned today, the links to the restaurant and the book that you mentioned. But we'll finish up here. For anyone who's listening to this and they want to connect with you, please do. If they like the episode, they should be sharing it to other people. We really love that. And that's all from me now. Cheers, kampai, and bye for now. Thank you so much for listening today to this episode of Lawyer on Air. I really hope that you were inspired by the story you heard and that you discovered something new about women in the law. Please subscribe to the show so that you don't miss future episodes. And if you can think of even just one person to share this episode with, that would make my day. I invite you to connect with me to talk more. Jump on over to LinkedIn or Instagram where you can find me, or send me a message via my website contact page. That's all from me today. I look forward to seeing you right here on the next episode of Lawyer on Air. Cheers, kampai, and bye for now.